Hey guys, my name is Shayla. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, I talk about motherhood, I talk about pregnancy. We do things kind of hippie, kind of natural, eco-friendly, like natural birthing and cleft diapering and Montessori things. If you're into that, please subscribe. If you're not new here, welcome back. Thank you for coming. Please like the video if you like the video. I have an Instagram, HEYSHAYLA. I have a podcast, HEYSHAYLA, where I talk about a lot of those things with like the gurus of those things. I interview people. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old who is running around here right now. Are you running around? I'm gonna let her basically unravel the upstairs for the next few minutes while I make this video. She's all over the place, so I just have to make sure she doesn't go by the stairs or the outlet, and we're good. Today, I want to talk to you about what to do if you think you might have postpartum depression and or anxiety. Full disclosure, I don't think I do, but I'm making this video because I was like, do I? What do I do now? Like, what are my next steps? And I feel like with what I do as far as like social media, I have fairly good resources and advice, and so I want to make sure that I'm always forwarding that advice to all of you. I did a podcast with mama psychologists about like the difference between baby blues and postpartum anxiety and depression, because I feel like that's the hardest part. Is you're like, am I just having a bad day? Am I having baby blues? Am I depressed? Am I overwhelmed? Like, what is happening to me? I have been depressed after my miscarriage, so I know the feeling of like not being able to get up and do things, and like just the deep underlying sadness that is happening. People think it's gonna happen like right after the baby. Those, according to this podcast, are the baby blues. If you continue to feel down and nothing is getting better, then you could be running into some postpartum depression or anxiety. Also, for disclosure, I'm not a psychologist. I'm nothing. This is what I did to help myself feel better. But if you are truly depressed, it's not just like have happy thoughts and get more sunshine. Like, you need to take bigger steps. So my first step was contacting my midwife, and I haven't talked to her since the 6-week appointment. That's what we do in the States. You go 6 weeks postpartum, they ask you a couple questions, and then you're out. So I was like, I'm just gonna check in with her to see what I need to do. And with my first child, I checked in with a friend who I knew who openly talked about her postpartum depression, and I was like, can I just ask you some questions about it, because I'm trying to figure out if that's what I've got. And she's like, the fact that you even think you might have it tells me that something's going on. Whether or not you have postpartum depression or anxiety, like, you've got something going on because you want to ask me about it. So I scheduled a call with my midwife, basically just told her everything that was going on. Well, and when you call your midwife, it's so confusing because I'm doing like the screening for depression. They're like, are you getting enough sleep? And I'm like that I think is related to having children, or that I think is related to like feeling depressed or anxious. Like, what? And I actually was more of the anxious questions were me. Like, I can't sit still, I need to keep busy, I blah, 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 blah. And like those questions I just feel like are so dumb. I don't know what other questions they would ask, but I'm just like, no, I'm not getting any sleep. Yes, I always feel like I'm on. No, and like, I always have a hard time answering, even when I'm calling to say, hey, I don't know if I'm like depressed or anxious, like, give me your screening. And I'm like, I don't know, yeah, a couple days, I guess. Like I said, it's just confusing for me because I go from like super low to then feeling fine. And I'm like, so should I get on some medicine, or I don't know. The other thing that she recommended was a SAD light, which is seasonal affect disorder. Let me give her something to play with. Ezzy. Seasonal affect disorder is basically in the wintertime when you're not getting enough vitamin D or natural sunlight or fresh air or whatever, and you go into a little bit of depression. Seth actually said that might be more of what you have, because it tends to always be in the wintertime. And now in Minnesota, like a week and a half ago, it snowed, and now it's like 70 degrees outside, and I'm just like, let's get outside, let's go do this. Oh, we'll just run to Target. And like, I'm just a different human. So I'm like, maybe that is what it is. So next winter, I'm 1000% getting a SAD light. What an acronym. Because for me, I will have like days where I am just sobbing, just crying, or I just like am kind of numb, and I'll even like get out on a walk with the girls and I'm just like, I don't feel better still. Like, I just have really low days, and then literally the next day I feel better, and for the next couple of weeks I feel better. And so then I was like, maybe there's like a trend, even though I don't have my period back, maybe I'm still on like that hormonal cycle. So I started tracking, like, is this the first day that Seth goes back to work? Is this always on a Monday, because I post videos on Tuesday and Mondays are kind of hectic? Is this a day that baby didn't nap? Like, is there a trend? Is this every 30 days, so it is on track with the cycle. I just was trying to find some sort of rhythm. I didn't really seem to find one. It tended to happen every 2 weeks-ish, so I guess there's kind of that. It did revolve around a lot of like if I had work that needed to be done and she would wake up from her nap, because then I would be stressed that I wasn't getting my work done. So that was a little bit of it, but trying to figure out if there's like a trigger or something. So I told my midwife everything that I had going on, and she was like, let's check it in 2 weeks. She told me to take a B complex. Obviously talk to your OB or midwife before, but she told me to take a B complex, to maybe carve some time out to meditate, because I do feel like I'm constantly putting out fires everywhere and I don't have the mental space to like think. And just because of the way that I do things of like co-sleeping and nursing on demand and all of those things, it really doesn't allow me a lot of time to just be like, and I'm off. Like Seth took the baby to go pick up the toddler yesterday, and while they were gone, I was like, what is this feeling of just knowing that I have at least 30 minutes to just relax? It's weird. So she said some sort of like meditation time, a B complex, and then to schedule an appointment with my therapist. I scheduled an appointment with my therapist. After talking to her, we realized that I have some major anxiety around leaving my babies. I had it with Aaliyah, and now I have it with Esme, and I think it kind of happens until they wean. So Aaliyah was like 1.5 years. Ezzy right now is almost a year. I don't know what it is. We're working through that right now. The other thing that we realized is that I want to spend significantly less time on my phone. Like, it really feels like an addiction, because it truly is, and it's created to be. So there's a lot of things that I've been putting into place, I've realized over even like the past year, of like silencing notifications and getting an Apple Watch and just like different things that I've done to put a little bit of distance between me and my screen time. And so I want to share that with you too, and kind of help it be like a work guide or something. I don't know. I'm working on it during nap time. So if you want that, you can go to HEYSHAYLA.com/emails and just get on the email list so that when it comes out, you'll be notified. Anyway, so I've been working on my screen time, which has helped a lot, just to like slow down, settle down a bit. And I've been slowing down my workload and doing like the vital work that needs to be done instead of all the fluff. My therapist also said, as far as getting less screen time, she prescribed a 15-minute solo walk. And I was like, why would I go by myself outside on a walk when I want to get my kids outside? And she's like, it's not about your kids, it's about you. And on these walks, I told Seth, I was like, you know when you like are working out and you can feel your quads, like you do a squat and you feel your quads and you just like feel your body? I was like, when I'm on my walks, I feel my body. Like I feel my core engaged, I feel like I just am present in my body, which I don't get to do because I'm always putting out fires everywhere. So I'm constantly outside of my body. So when I'm on my walk by myself, I don't bring my phone, and I just like 15 minutes. And then for like the first 5, I like sort through all the things that I need to do that day. What do we need? And then it's all done because I don't have any distractions. And then I kind of like get more mental space where I can think about things, and I'm like, wow, the sky's really blue today. Oh, Earth in this huge thing called the universe. And I can just have like random thoughts. And so I came back from my first walk, and Seth was like, do you feel better? I feel a little bit more unraveled. Like I don't feel like completely different, but that's like the first step that I needed. And then the next time I went on a walk, I unraveled a little bit more and just had a little bit more space. And then today I went on a walk and I like didn't have that feeling. So I think it's just like, you just got to keep doing it. I was like, okay, when can I get my walk in? And he was like, okay, how about this time or this time during the day? And I was like, yes, please, thank you. So now we're making sure that I get a walk in, and it just feels good. And he's like, I think this is going to be really good for you. I'm like, me too. The other thing that I did was told a friend. This felt kind of silly because I was like, I just have these low days every once in a while. So like maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe they're going to be like, why does Shayla think she has this? But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tell them. I was like, hey, I'm having a tough time. I don't really know what's going on. I'm working on things to feel better. What are you doing? But I just wanted you to know. Hey! And I'm glad that I did, because maybe I do feel better the next day. That's okay. It's okay to tell someone that you're having a tough time, and someone that you trust and love and that will support you. Because then they all got together and shipped me a Target order of like coffee, some snacks, some coloring things for Aaliyah, dinner that night. And I was like, I just feel so loved by you guys. And then they checked in on me. Hey, are you feeling better? And I could say, yeah. or I could say no, or whatever. I'm not trying to minimize like true depression and anxiety because it's so real and it's so heavy and it's so what I'm trying to do is give people who are like, I'm not sure what I've got going on, because I'm not opposed to medicine. If that's going to make me feel better and make me a better human and just my life better, 100%. There are some crazy hormone shifts that happen postpartum, like up until you wean, basically. I also just learned that there's a hormone relaxin that makes all your joints like not as strong, that continues until after you stop breastfeeding. I thought it was after you birth the baby. No, it's after you're done breastfeeding. There's a hormone shift obviously when you give birth. I did a whole podcast with this with Carrie Jones, like all the hormones of pregnancy and postpartum, which is great, because your hormones are going crazy during pregnancy, and then when the baby's born, they just like fall off a cliff. That can contribute to the baby blues. Then you get hormones from breastfeeding, and then if your breastfeeding journey ends early, you got hormone shift from that. When your baby starts having more solids, your hormones shift again. Then when you wean your baby, your hormones shift again. I remember when I night weaned, I literally thought I was losing my mind. I was like, I need ADD medication, I need anxiety and depression medication. Seth and I need to go to couples counseling. Like, I was losing it, all because of your hormones. So why I'm saying this is, apparently it's typical for postpartum depression and anxiety to start happening around like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months postpartum. That's like a common thing. So you're thinking like right away it's gonna happen, and then when your baby's 10 months, 11 months, you're like, why am I feeling so low? It could be postpartum depression and anxiety. What? So keep that in mind. Just because you're out of like the newborn phase doesn't mean you can't still get postpartum depression and anxiety. And talk to your partner about it. Like, there is postpartum psychosis where moms are like harming their babies. If I had those thoughts, I would share them with Seth. As like crazy that I would feel sharing those, I want to tell him that so that he can make sure that I am okay and that the kids are safe and that I'm safe. I hope that you feel comfortable sharing with your partner and that your partner knows about postpartum depression and anxiety, because then you can share these things. Like, I tell Seth and he's like, it's okay, we're gonna get through it. Like, this is hard, and I'm sure it's hard for you too, dealing with me all the time with all these like crazy emotions. Knowing your triggers is also really helpful. Like, I know that when I need to work and Izzy doesn't nap, I have a really hard time. So Mondays I need a plan for, so I try and get as much of my Monday work done before Monday, so that if it is a shit show, then at least I'm not as behind. My other huge trigger is sleep. If I do not get enough sleep multiple days in a row, I'm somebody that can do pretty good on like 6-7 hours of sleep for a few days, but then there starts to be a point where I'm like, I'm not okay. I'm actually feeling a little sick. I get flustered faster. I get angry faster. And so I know that I need to prioritize sleep for like so many reasons, but especially because I mainly co-sleep, so there's not a lot of time that I get by myself, and so I can sometimes, like all moms, even if you're not co-sleeping, take that nighttime where they're finally asleep and just like stay up too late. I also learned this from experience. Remember, I have anxiety around leaving my children. When I miss my children, it is like the sweetest feeling in the whole wide world, where I like come back and I'm like right now I miss Aaliyah. She's at daycare and I just want to go get her, but she likes me to pick her up after they go play on the playground, so I have to wait till a certain time to go get her. I just love spending so much time with her, so that was something I had to do too. So mine, I think, is overwhelm and just being a little bit overwhelmed, so I've needed to hire out the village. So we have more people that come and help with the children so that I can have a little bit of mental space. And in my hippy dippy ways, the second time around, I did not want to experience the postpartum depression, anxiety stuff that I thought I experienced in my first pregnancy or my first postpartum. So I encapsulated my placenta. I also did like the first 40 days where I just chilled and ate very nourishing, warm foods. There's a book called The First 40 Days. And those things helped a lot. Like, my postpartum during the newborn phase was exponentially different. Like, I barely cried. I enjoyed it a lot. And I really think it had to do with that placenta. So if you're like, why not? I'll just give it a go. I think that's the right attitude. I think better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. And so you just have to find a doula in your area that encapsulates placentas. So they take it from the hospital, turn it into little pills, and you pop those pills every couple of days. And then when you start to like, I don't know, get 6 weeks out or something, I can't remember exactly what it was, then you have like some left. I just took my last one the other day. I'm just like, I'm not doing okay. I need a placenta pill. I know that's a lot for a lot of people. It was kind of a lot for me, but I was so grateful that I did it, because I even had COVID and my midwives were like, I don't know, it's kind of dicey with COVID and placenta. It's like, but I still did it and I'm glad I did. So basically what this video is for is to say, if you are feeling low and you're not sure why, and you're not sure what to do about it, start with calling your midwife or your OB. Then, if you feel like you should talk to a therapist, which I would highly recommend, and just telling some friends. If you're feeling low, I hope this helps you to take the steps to get in the right direction. And if your midwife or OB is like, yeah, that is depression and anxiety, I hope you get on the medication that you need to make yourself feel better, because when mama's happy, everyone's happy. It's true. We are the engine. We are the driver. We are the everything. So we need to make sure that our mental state is good for ourselves and for everyone else. That is all. I hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you next time. Mwah. Bye.